231. We're your host, I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Well, it is a dire situation, and it's not happy times. Almost feels like the end of times. I'm really disappointed. How about you, ladies?
Yes, so it's November 7th. It's 2 days from our general election. Here, our presidential election. And for all of those of you listening, obviously you are aware that Donald Trump was reelected to be president. And leading up to our recording tonight, we have just been talking about that and kind of processing it and going over all of the feelings and emotions. It's been a surreal 2 days. I think, Jen, you stated it perfectly, what everyone's feeling, vacillating between being extremely sad and extremely angry.
Like, honestly, like, even at work and even here, I'm like struggling to open my mouth because I know that I'm gonna fucking say something fucked up. And I try so hard to be not exactly nice, but kind, compassionate, sympathetic, and empathetic. But I hope that if you voted against human rights, against like hope, against sympathy, against empathy, against I'm not gonna lie, I hope you choke. I don't care. I don't care if like you don't listen to it. I don't care if you think I'm young and stupid. Because you know what? I am gonna still be feeling like this in 30 years. Because this is who I am. And the honest to God question is that you want me dead. Like, that's it. That's all I can think about is that you motherfuckers want me dead. And people be like, oh, not you, but you're like the exception. No, you want me dead. That is the truth. Don't shy away from it. You want me dead.
Yeah. I think a lot of members of marginalized communities are feeling this way. The irony is that an overwhelming majority of Latinos voted for him, and he's already on the news today talking about his plan for day one for mass deportation again. And so I don't know if those Latinos just are second, third generation. They don't have anybody in their family that it's going to primarily directly affect them. I don't know what their thought process was, other than just they could not bring themselves to vote for a woman to be president. And so I've been seeing sentiments very similar to yours on social media, Jen, of women who are just completely devastated of having more rights taken away from them. I have been seeing women and families of women who died due to this abortion ban tell their stories, now be even more fearful of what's going to happen if this ban is more widespread as to what he wants to do, what his plan is to do.
Project 2025.
Trans and LGBTQ community members being scared about what their health care is going to look like, what their legal rights are going to look like. And for me, the bottom line is that's all policy, but what all that policy emboldens is behavior. We're already seeing on social media people sharing personal stories about how young fucking elementary school boys are going to school and telling girls, your body, my choice. And how people are going onto social media and did you see that freaking text that Black students are getting?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see the University of oh God, what you? It's either in Michigan or Wisconsin, but basically a lot of women, a lot of girls are getting like rape threats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the election of this man is bringing back all of this horrible, terrifying behavior that we saw the first time around. But even more highlighted and intensified because it seems as if they are justified now in it because to them, most of the country agrees with them. And that's the terrifying part for me and the things that I've been thinking about. I was sharing with both Jen and Sarah that I have family members and acquaintances from my hometown that all voted for Trump, and how I don't think that these issues that we are mostly concerned about are at all on their radar because they're white, middle class, upper middle class men and women that they don't have to think about it because it doesn't affect them. And for the most part, honestly, being, having not being able to have an abortion, being deported, or having my trans rights taken away doesn't affect me either personally, but it affects me because I have empathy and I have friends who all belong into all those communities, and my heart breaks for all of them.
Absolutely. I have a friend who is queer, and he was in West Hollywood, and he was recording on his story, and there was these big trucks with the flags, and they were just doing a lot of like horrible slurs, just going down Santa Monica Boulevard. And he's like, look at this shit. It's happening on Tuesday. We're
In West Hollywood.
in West Hollywood,
Yeah.
and they're their truck they're riding down the street with their big flag, and just with the just honking the horn and just saying all these racial slurs. And I mean, at one point I was like, are they gonna run over the people that are crossing the street? It was just like really scary, and I was just watching it on Instagram. I mean, I wasn't even there. um it's just insane. I just don't get it. I don't get I just don't get it. I'm just really disappointed and really sad. And um, just another birthday is ruined for me. Like, I'm just gonna skip over it because my birthday's January 20th, and they're gonna do that on that.
Oh, that's sucks.
I know. Last time I was like beside myself with grief, and I didn't think I was gonna cry this year, but I guess I am. Um, just ridiculous. Just I don't. There's something else I wanted to say, but I just can't remember it now. It just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, America. Oh, yeah. There's this one. A lot of people were complaining. A lot of, you know, people for Trump were complaining. They're like, oh, just get over it. Stop making a big deal. Like, just that this is who the president is. And he's like, get over it. You guys stormed the fucking Capitol when you guys didn't win last time. Like, seriously? Like, they don't even remember their own behavior. And I think that's how they operate. They don't remember the behavior, and they just go on.
They choose not to.
Yeah, and then they just vote him back into office. Like,
This is the worst toxic relationship.
oh, God, yes. I just, like, I really hope you don't regret voting for him. But it feels
No,
like-
I hope they do.
Yeah, my mom, when she asked me if I was shocked and I told her no, I wasn't, she said, well, your brother and his girlfriend, baby mama, whatever, are happy. I'm assuming she had talked to them or texted them or whatever. And I said, good. I hope they get exactly what they voted for. And my mom's response was, to be honest, I don't think they even know what they voted for. And you know what? I think that's exactly right. I think a lot of voters are single issue voters. I have a lot of people on my Facebook right now exalting that unborn babies are going to be saved now. And that was their one issue. I had that other friend who war was the issue. And most people just talking about how their economic situation is going to improve now because they've been suffering for so long. And the irony to me is that for all of the articles and things I've been reading, that the reason things are so shitty and have been so shitty for these last 4 years is because we inherited fucking Trump's policies.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, that's what's going on. We are terribly disappointed and we're hurt and we're angry as well. So that's the shit. That's what's going on.
Mierda de la semana.
And now it's time for Mierda de la Semana. Or for the next 4 years. Anyway, guys, let's switch it up a little. It is time for Trastorno de Pánico. Anyway, guys, today I have Disappear Completely, and you can find that movie on Netflix, and it's Desaparezco por completo in Spanish, and it takes place in Mexico, and it's a movie that was filmed was released in 2022. It's a Mexican horror thriller directed and co-produced by Luis Javier Genaine. Genaine. I don't know how to say it, guys. I'm sorry. It was also co-written by Ricardo Aguado Fentanes. Woof! What's going on with me? Anyway, it takes place in Mexico City, and we have the protagonist, which is Harold Torres. He plays Harold Torres is the actor, and he plays Santiago Mendoza, who is a photojournalist. He takes pictures, but these pictures are from like car crashes, death, like really like. Do you guys remember the revista or the magazine called Alarma from Mexico? I think they stopped producing it in the 90s. But do you guys remember it? It was like a black and white magazine, and it had like decapitated heads.
Oh,
Didn't the people get sued because they were like going or they were like orchestrating or something like that?
I don't remember
or they were like when they would get there, they would trash the scene of the crime. And they couldn't like investigate or anything like that. Because people would call them instead of like the police.
The police, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a thing because I'm sure they got like money for calling stuff in like that.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, but that magazine was infamous. I mean, I got to see it when I was a kid. My dad would have some Alarma magazines and stuff. But this dives into Santiago Mendoza. He actually takes picture. He gets a tip from the police, and he accesses this one instance where he takes pictures of like some high-ranking official, and so he finds something within this scene, and he tampers with it, and it looks like brujeria, santeria stuff. He tampers with it, and all of a sudden he gets a curse. Like I think he tried to like take it apart, and it just came to him like tenfold, and he ends up losing a sense every day. Like first I think it starts with hearing and then taste and stuff like that, but you also see his struggle, Santiago Mendoza's struggle, because he has a pregnant girlfriend, and his job is just so like consuming, and he wants to get the good picture because he wants to get paid. But all of a sudden, after this happens, he just starts suffering from a lot of supernatural kind of curse activity while he's trying to do his job, while he's trying to like be there for his pregnant girlfriend. Anyways, it's freaky. It's amazing. There's like a lot of elements of like santeria, brujeria. We have a bruja. We have like a lot of seances. We have like all this cool stuff. And I mean, if you really want to dive down kind of like the horror aspect of like the Mexican culture, this is definitely the movie to watch. It's Disappear Completely, and you can find it and stream it on Netflix. It is super cool. The imagery, the cinematography is amazing. Even the budget was amazing, because sometimes you can see a good story and like just the special effects are just not really there. It's not really holding its end of the deal as far as like the movie development, but this one was really good. I really highly recommend it. The acting was amazing. I mean, I want to go watch it again right now. That's how good it is. Definitely
Nice.
check it out. But yeah, no, I was like, and then you just see the struggle of him, like justifying his job. So you see that like internal kind of struggle within himself as well. Because he's not a bad guy, but it's kind of hard not to see him as a bad guy because of what he does for a living. It's crazy. It's good, and there's a lot of great shots of Mexico. So I just thought it was a really well made movie, and it's totally horrific as far as like you get the whole like scary jump kind of scares, and you got and then I find it like compelling because I grew up with some of that stuff. Like I know some of that stuff, like, they hace la limpia, you get cleansed and stuff like that. So it's really, really cool. So I really highly recommend it. And that has been Trastorno de Pánico. All right, guys, it's now time for On My Radar. What is on your radar, Kristen?
So on my radar, I'm going to share a book, but I also had a chisme, but we didn't do that. So I'm going to share it here because it's also on your radar. But I just wanted to let everybody listening know that I was officially asked to moderate the Latina Power panel again at Latino Comics Expo this
Yay.
year. So I will be moderating Latina Power panel, and it's going to be at the Latino Comics Expo on Saturday, November 23rd at noon. So there are some little rooms towards the back where they have the panels and the guest speakers. And so I will be moderating that panel. I don't know who is on the panel yet. Javier told me that he is gathering them up, but every year it is a panel of amazing women who are doing amazing things in the comic industry. So that is my little bit of just newly acquired chisme and also on my radar. But a book that is on my radar this week is called Killtown, and it was released this week, and it is written by Regina Kim. And I'm going to turn it around and show you guys. It's kind of funny how similar this is to Lipstick Clica. Doesn't it
I
look?
was going to say that. Yes,
Is
definitely.
it the same artist?
I don't know. Good question. Cover artist was Naomi Griffin. So I don't know. I don't remember who did Lipstick Clica, but it looks so similar. But this is a book published by Killtown, and the description basically says that it is already in development with Sony Entertainment. So get this
Oh.
comic, get it signed, get a CDC, whatever, because the movie's coming out, and if it takes off, you will have a number one. So it is fueled with horror-fueled action. Killtown is a spin-off series of the Night of the Cadillacs comic book. Is that also what
Yes,
Lipstick
that is
Clica
part
was?
of the Lipstick Click.
Okay, so
yes.
that's why it's looks so similar. Maybe it is the same cover artist.
Right, right.
So Street Savvy Mean wants to make her mark in the world. However, she feels held back in her role as a money runner with the Seven Stars Mob, which is the biggest crime syndicate in Koreatown, Los Angeles. When Mean takes things into her own hands to usurp Vince, the notorious Seven Stars Mob boss, her plan backfires. Mean is shot execution style and left for dead. So again, it says it's full of horror-fueled action, and since we already have read Lipstick Clica, we know that that particular faction of gangsters were vampires. So I don't know about this. There's no clues on the cover of any otherworldly type creatures, but if it's part of that whole world and storyline, then I'm sure that we can expect something similar to be happening in Killtown. So
Werewolves.
that, yeah, I mean, where there's a vampire, there's always a werewolf.
Yeah.
So that is Killtown #1, came out this week. It should be on your LCS's shelves. So go and check it out.
All right, guys, it's time for La Hora de la Cervecita. What are we drinking, girls?
And Cowboy. I love this can art. It is
Yeah.
from Los Angeles Ale Works, and it is a red lager, 5.5 ABV, and just in time, just missed Dia de los Muertos, but the aesthetic is still timely. This is a skeletal lager packed with a wagon full of noble hops, red rice, and German red malt. Amber in color, notes of caramel, and a dry finish. Oh, Ale Works is in Hawthorne.
What?
Nice.
I've never
Says-
been.
Yeah, me either. Brewed by Los Angeles Ale Works, Hawthorne, California. And you can go to laaleworks.com. That's LAALEWORKS.com.
And I'm drinking Absolute Vodka.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
She
I got
is
this.
drinking her feelings.
Yeah. I got this because of course, the can art. I felt like I wish there were more beers that were released with like a Dia de los Muertos kind of theme. I actually just learned the Cempasúchil, which is the marigold, which is the Day of the Dead flower, is edible. And candles
Really?
are edible,
It's-
yes.
It's very
Yeah.
bitter though.
And I was like, why hasn't anybody brewed a beer made out of marigolds and do a seasonal Day of the Dead beer? I'm putting it out there, universe. Make it
Maybe
happen.
because it's bitter.
But you know what? Then you can throw in some chilito, maybe some lime. I don't know. Like, come on.
Rose petals by themselves are also very bitter. But have you ever had a candied rose petal? Those should slap.
It
Really?
isn't bad.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I thought it was
Hold
gonna
on.
be worse.
Let me cleanse my vodka palate.
I was gonna pour it in a glass, but I got so discombobulated with everything going on that I forgot to get my glass.
It's very caramelly, for
Yeah.
sure. I can taste that.
That's not bad.
It tastes also kind of woodsy a little bit.
Woodsy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good description.
Yeah, definitely. But it's light. It's also
Sorry.
light.
Yeah,
Does have a
it's
dry
not.
finish.
Yeah, it's not heavy. Yeah, I couldn't tell about the dry finish because there's another dry finish in my mouth.
That's what she said. Anyway.
No,
Um,
she never gets a dry finish. That's how good she is.
um, I'm skilled. Wow. Okay. Well, wagon full. We got that.
Oh.
That woodsy feel. That's nice.
I'm wondering if that's also from the red rice.
That's right.
yeah.
I think it's that because it kind of reminds me of genmatcha, which is the toasted rice. Toasted rice tea. Which is pretty good. So like a more wood, like you said, like a more woodsy or like smoky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I
smoky
like
taste
it.
to that. It's not like cigarette smoke. It's like a nice, like
Right.
clean smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm very excited about this. I didn't think it was going to be this good, honestly.
You just bought it
Because
for the art.
I just got it for the art. And plus, it's red lager. And you know how I do not like lagers at all. But I
Yeah.
thought, well, it's red lager, so there's a little spin to it. So maybe like it won't be that bad. But, I'm always trying to find, because, if it were up to me, I'd get us IPAs all the time. But I'm trying to I'm trying to switch it up every now and then. So
Well, we appreciate it.
you're welcome. But Source, what is our rating scale, Kristen?
So we have a 5-point rating scale where 1 out of 5 is very unsatisfied, a 2 out of 5 is unsatisfied, a 3 out of 5 is neutral, a 4 out of 5 is satisfied, and a 5 out of 5 is very satisfied. And I'll get started. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I really actually enjoy it. It's very light to me. And I think that it is true to its description on the can, very caramelly. Never had red rice before, but that woodsy, smoky flavor, if that's where it comes from, it's actually very enjoyable.
Very tasty.
And if I saw this on tap, I'm actually interested to go to this Ale Works place. It's so
I
close to me.
know.
I had no idea it existed. But that's kind of neither here nor there because there's so many breweries around us and I haven't been to all of them at all, and I should go. But 4 out of 5 for me. I really enjoy it, and I definitely would drink it again.
Oh, nice. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 as well. I pleasantly surprised because, like I said before, I do not like lagers, but this has a real, I like the woodsy finish and kind of like that refreshing and very light. So I'm eating a little cleaner now, so I was expecting the beer to be heavier on my stomach, and
Oh, yeah.
just right. It's just a perfect blend of clean eating and drinking. What about you, Jen?
I'm also gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I really, really like it. It's got like the red rice slash genmacha taste to it. It reminds me of tea, so I really like it.
Oh,
Wow.
Not boring like most lagers or like pale ales or wit beers are. It's got nuance to it, so I pretty much like that. Also, I am pretty toasted.
Exactly. That has been our beer review. All right, guys. It's time for our book review. What are we reviewing today?
Today, we are reviewing 8 Limbs. This is a humanoids book that is done by Stephanie Phillips, who is the writer, and it is drawn by Giulia Lalli. Hope that's how you say her name.
think so.
With colorist Lee Lowridge, letters by Anworld Design James, or whatever. The cover artist is Dan Panosian, and title page illustration Koi Pham and Lee Lowridge.
Well, first of all, I really love the cover art. It is really amazing, dynamic. I really loved it. I think they spent a lot of time with like I love it when they do a lot of like detail on like clothing. And I love the fold and the movement of
Yeah.
this actual cover art. That's really, really amazing. Can you give us a synopsis of what the book is kind of about, Kristen or Jen?
I can read the back.
Excellent.
All right, I'll read the back. Joanna thought losing her championship title would be the hardest fight she'd ever faced. Then she met Maury. After the devastating final fight of her career that saw her give up her championship title, Muay Thai fighter Joanna began to rebuild her life. She became a mother, opened her own gym, and started teaching a new generation of fighters. But at
I think
times, she
it-
still finds herself missing the thrill of the fight.
Oh, it's
Somebody's frozen, and I think it's Kristen.
me. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. All right, I'll continue. Mari has been bouncing around different schools and foster situations all her life. When her most recent school kicked her out due to fighting, her desperate caseworker calls in a favor to an old friend, Joanna, to foster Mari for a few days until a new situation can be found. While the two have many similarities that bring them closer together, one similarity, their natural inclination to fight, could push them apart with disastrous results. When writing powerhouse Stephanie Phillips, who wrote Grim and Harlequin, and star newcomer Giulia Lalli join forces, it's sure to be a tag team you won't forget.
Well, I wasn't expecting to like this.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen like McGregor and like fighting and stuff like that, and I enjoy the bloodshed and
What's
like
McGregor?
he's an MMA fighter.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I've seen fights and whatever, but I just thought this was gonna be kind of, like, centered in, like, the fighting in the ring and all that, like a kind of a Rocky um,
Ah,
kinda trope.
uh-huh.
But, and I didn't call her Mari, I call her Mari, 'cause I just wanted her to be Latina. So so I'm like, when I was introduced in the first few pages, I was introduced to Mari and how she has a lot of anger in her and how she's a foster kid that can't be placed permanently anywhere because she's like getting into fights and not doing well in school and just be really rebellious. It kind of feels like she's just angry at the world and angry at herself and can't even though like you get expelled, you're still not changing your behavior or trying to change at all. You're just angry at the world, just kind of just unleashing. And um my cousin was in the foster care system. So I kind of saw a little bit of him because he also had that anger because he wasn't able to like be emotional because of how he was brought up in the early years. I'm so proud of him now because now as an adult, he's been able to be like with all the nurturing and everything in his beautiful family, he's been able to be like super nurturing and just really forthcoming with his emotions and everything. So like it just I thought the story as it read was just something like that, like a journey of that sort with fighting being a little bit of the of kind of like the star of kind of the story, right? Um the art was amazing. The only thing I have to say is that I know everybody's name in the story, including the bad guys, quote unquote. But what was the husband's name? He was super supportive. He was
Yeah.
amazing. He was a really critical character in the story because he basically is the father of Victoria, which is the small child that I felt a little bit of, kind of like a little bit of, emotion that I was seeing because, Victoria being the baby that I think she's still nursing, and,
Mhm.
Joanna couldn't get her to latch on, yet, when Joanna would hold her daughter Victoria, she would kinda be fussy and maybe even cry, whereas when her husband held her, she would stop crying and when she would stop being fussy, and I just thought, "I need to know the husband's name," but I went back and I looked and I couldn't find it, but he was such an amazing character too. He was kind of like her Jiminy Cricket, I think, Joanna, because, she would like I mean, she's feeling all this stuff, she's lamenting her loss to, Jessica, which was, her last fight, of her career because then she retired, and, she's holding all that kind of emotion, she's still feeling that, she's still living through that, and her husband would just been like a rock, like, "You won, you did your thing, you retired, you have your gym, you have your students, you're perfect," you know? And then
His
Mari
name was Clark.
his name was Clark?
Yes.
Where did you read that?
When the caseworker goes to visit them, she calls out both of their names, Joanna and Clark.
Clark, real MVP Clark. I love you, Clark. Um, but and I really appreciate that Joanna just felt like, you know what, like we're gonna help this girl Madi. And Clark was like, hey, you know what, we should discuss this as a family. We have a baby, like we don't know what this is gonna be like. But she's like, we didn't have such good childhoods either. And so I thought that was like really important to just because you just don't want to propel a story without like identifying things that could be troublesome from a past. So I thought that was really well done. What about you guys?
So I am a big fan of Stephanie Phillips. Anything that I've ever read by her, I have enjoyed. She also was a guest on our Tuesday night live show one week. I believe that was when she was writing Nuclear Family. And that was a story and book that Eddie really, really loved and used to um, recommend to as many people as would listen to him. So I have always had her books on my radar when she wrote new ones, and she does write a lot for DC, but she does do some indie stuff. And when this came out, I ordered it because it was female teen of creators, and obviously a story about women and young women. And, but I had no idea what it was going to be about. Um, the way, even though we see what it says on the back, I didn't know what to expect either. And to be honest, the story itself was too short for me. Like, I wanted more backstory
Yes.
with Joanna and Clark. Obviously, we get the hint. They know the caseworker because they were involved in foster system when they were younger. Um, we hear about and I think Clark says something specifically to Joanna, like, you, of course, you should know, given your history or whatever. What history? Tell me what history.
Yeah. And then
And also, go
I
ahead.
also really like the fact that they were both fighters. They both competed and they came
Right.
together. And he was like, yeah, I was a fighter, but she was always way better. She just has the gift. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. And I would like to know more about that. Go.
Yeah. So also with Madi, like, she's in the foster care system, but we don't really learn much about why. Why is she so angry? Of course, being in the foster care system, I'm sure she's gone through some trauma. Um, and she has been moved from school to school, from placement to placement, and is just was something that was interesting to me. However, I understand that the story is specifically about how they, both Joanna, Clark, and Madi at the end, use Muay Thai as a way to channel anger and channel their frustrations and their energy in a more positive, healing way. And so I understand that that's the story. And actually, I was interested to find out in the forward that Stephanie herself was a Muay Thai fighter. And
What?
actually, yeah, so that's the part that you did miss in the forward.
Yeah,
Sarah.
don't you read?
So you did not need a deep dive.
I told Kristen, I was like, I did not read the forward, so I'm assuming that 8 limbs is gonna be explained in the forward. And she's like, no,
No,
it's not.
no, it wasn't. I had to Google that shit, and that annoyed me too. Like, don't title a book with this very ominous title and then not explain it to me. But I would have been satisfied if it was in the forward.
Wait,
but-
what is it supposed to be? I thought, like, after finishing it, when I read 8 Limbs, I was just like, oh, because her and Mari, they're like, well, one of them, like, together, they're 8 limbs. That's
oh
what
my god, that's a good.
that is a good take.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I will get to the 8 limbs definition in a bit.
Okay.
But Stephanie says that she wrote 8 limbs as a celebration of what it means to choose to fight instead of feeling like you have to fight. She says that there's a vast difference between fighting and violence, and that she thinks it boils down to choice. Says that that's not to say that Muay Thai is the only way for women to resist gendered norms, but it was mine. Stephanie saying that was her way of resisting, and it meant the world to her. So when I looked up the meaning of 8 limbs with regards to Muay Thai, basically it is it's a way to hint at the fact that Muay Thai uses 4 main, like, ways of striking. So you have your punches, your kicks, your knee strikes, and your elbow strikes. So those are 4 different ways to strike. So your hands, your elbows, your knees, and your feet. And we each had 2 of them. So those are 8 things. And so those are 8 quote unquote limbs that you can use to fight with in a Muay Thai fight. So that's
Okay.
what 8 limbs. And there's kind of like a Asian martial arts have a lot of, like, mythology, a lot of times connected to it. And so that's kind of where the 8 limbs thing came from.
Oh, got it. What
So-
about Asian? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So I'm just gonna say, because I worked with a lot of girls from this um population of being in foster care, being angry, fighting, getting kicked out of school. I really had an affinity for the Mari character, and the one complaint I did have was that it was very like what is it when a story you can guess what happens? It was very
Very formulaic.
I yeah, but like I don't know. I just will say I knew where it
Predictable.
was going. Predictable. There you go. I knew where it was going, and there wasn't really that. Well, I guess the twist was when Joanna finds out who Mari was fighting in her fight. But it still was enjoyable. Like I said, I guess when a story makes you want to know more about a character, that's a good thing. But overall, it's a one and done, so you don't have any future issues or trades that you need to go through. The whole story is in here, and I did enjoy it. And I didn't know anything about Muay Thai, and that kind of made me interested too.
Mhm. Yeah. I really, really liked it. From the sense of like a story and like a one and done, I think this was really good. We get like our like it is a little predictable, but like we get our conflict resolution. I really liked all of the characters. I like Clark as a character of a positive masculinity. I thought he was really, really cool. And I liked Joanna too as like kind of like the seasoned veteran, like a very, very not I was getting like Rocky vibes, but more like Creed vibes as well. Like here's like here's like the experienced fighter who doesn't fight anymore, but due to an injury, and here's like the young protege. So that's kind of the vibes I was getting. It was like Creed, but women. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it too. Um, well, I haven't worked with disenfranchised youth. I do know simply from growing up. I mean, I grew up in an inner city school in the ghetto.
The ghetto.
Yeah, the ghetto.
Sorry.
I had friends and stuff like that who were in the foster system and were either never able to get up, were never adopted, or they just never until they grew out of it. Um, and I think this is a very idealized version. I do 100% believe that there are kids, and I hope that all kids in the foster system will one day be able to find their forever homes, you know, like because they're like pets. Yeah.
Oh my God. I used to cry watching, I don't know what TV channel it was, but they had Wednesday's Child, and they would parade the kid around and talk to them and be like, what do you like to do? And what do you hope? And the kid would always say, I wish for a forever home, my forever family. And oh my God, I wanted to adopt them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just make a little community in my backyard with tents and stuff.
And
Well, you're talking about that. I actually got Girl Fight, the movie vibes. The first movie Michelle Rodriguez did.
no, I never seen
With
it. I know
TRASTORNO.
I've heard about it, but I've never seen
Yeah.
it.
Oh, it's such a good movie. And she had the braids. So she looked really
Right.
tough and like really scary. Like I actually went to school with girls that looked really scary and just look at you and you're just like, oh my God, please don't look at me. Don't,
Uh-huh.
don't hurt.
What's that book that we read? I think earlier this year. Yaki wants to fight you.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
I had a
Yaki
Yaki in my
Dagaro.
house.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yaki Delgado wants to fight you. This is like the like a flip version of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
Marie could be or Marie could be
Yaki?
Yaki, yeah.
Or, or Yaki. I think
Yeah,
they were trying to say
Yaki.
Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yaki.
But it's Yaki. My like if I had a critique, it would be that I think this is a very idealistic and a very idealized version of the foster system
Yeah.
or like how people can get fostered. And then you know like find their adoptions.
Forever.
But at the same time, I was able to let that go because I was just like, you know what, I really want to believe in it.
Yes.
And I did like Muddy's character, even though I too like saw Muddy's around, and then I was just like, wow, she's scary. I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
fight
don't even want
her.
to know her. Please don't bring her in my direction. Like, just want to disappear in the wall.
um, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it for what it was about. I think, you know what? Why isn't there a women version of Apollo or Creed or whatchamacallit,
Or
Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah, and I think this was really, really good. I love the dialogue in it. I thought it was pretty
Yes.
good and pretty well done and very
Yes,
idealistic.
absolutely.
I like the her antagonist and her coming back and like facing off. Well, I won't spoil it. But there is definitely I feel like there's two big bads here.
Yes.
There's a big bad for Mari and there's a big bad for Joanna. And I like how like she's a mother, but that wasn't like the whole idea or the whole point of it as well. And it overall, this is just you can 100% you can tell it's written by a woman because it's written so well. I really liked it. I enjoyed reading it.
Absolutely. Are we ready to rate it? What's our rating scale?
Yes. So we have a rating scale of 1 to 3 conchas. 3 conchas being the most that Jen's mom ever used to let her eat in one sitting. So that was the best.
It continues to be the best.
If it was a book, if it's a book that is off of our concha scale, then we do give it a special rating. And I'm going to go ahead and get started by giving it, I'm going to give it 3 conchas and a stolen candy bar.
The best kind. They tasted better when they were when you were able to pilfer them. I stand by them.
Tastes better when you're able to pilfer them.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
hilarious.
Just make sure you don't do it in summer and put it down your blouse because it will melt.
And don't get caught.
And don't get caught, definitely. So yes, I'm gonna give it the act at the same rating. I think that's a perfect rating. It's a whole it's tres conchas and a Snickers, a stolen Snickers. What about you, Jen?
I'm gonna give it tres conchas as well. The whole it fell out of the truck candy bar. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was really, really good. So tres conchas for me.
Excellent. That has been our book review. All right, guys, it's time for En la Librería. Jen, what do you have for us today?
Today, I have The Fables of Earl King Wood, a folklore graphic novel by writer and artist Junie Ba. So, this is being done by Goats Flying Press. Goats Flying Press can be found in Brooklyn, New York. It is an independent creator-owned publisher based in Brooklyn, dedicated to bringing you only the finest comics against all odds. This is a synopsis that they have here on their campaign page. From Junie Ba, the unforgettable words. From Junie Ba, the unforgettable artist of Robin the Boy Wonder, Monkey Meat, and Giulia, comes his most remarkable graphic novel yet. A meditation on life, death, and the great web of stories that connects us all. The Fables of Earl King Wood is a century-spanning epic exploring the intertwined lives and fates of the denizens of Earl King Wood, the many peoples, critters, and demigods that call it home, and the shadowy figure of the Earl King himself, an ancient entity who haunts the woods and is known to strike bargains with any brave enough to dare approach him, offering them their heart's desire, but at a great cost. Weaving together fantasy, folklore, adventure, and humor with gorgeously painted artwork, The Fables of Earl King Wood is sure to capture your imagination and your heart, and to take on a journey into a fabled forest, lovely, dark, and deep, where you might be tempted to strike your own bargain with the Earl King. Suggested for readers ages 11 and up. And then they have a preview of it. The artwork, amazing. Honestly, so good. It looks wonderful, super detailed, very folksy. I like there's like anthropomorphic animals. There's also like a person as well. But it looks wonderful. It looks amazing. And I think it's going to be coming out as the picture that they have here is a hardcover. So it definitely looks like a very epic story. And then let's get into goals and rewards. So it actually has a goal of $8,000. It has exceeded that. It's currently at $36,214 with 473 backers and 21 days to go as of recorded it. It was actually fully funded in 50 minutes, according to Kickstarter. You can always make a pledge without expecting a reward, but the base pledge starts at $15, where you get the digital edition of the book. And then the next tier is $25, where you get the digital comics bundle. So you get the digital editions of the Fables of Earl King Wood and Scales and Scoundrels, issues number 1 through 5. And I remember, this is why I knew that, Pris. Scales and Scoundrels was a really good comic book series that came out a couple years ago, and it was great, fantasy based.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was really good. So you get that book as well as Scales and Scoundrels, issues numbers 1 through 5. The next, if you want the print book of this, the print edition, the reward tier is $40. You get the print and digital editions of the Fables of Earl King Wood, and it's going to be a 184-page full-color hardcover graphic novel. So this is actually pretty on par with around the price of a hardcover, especially if it looks like, if it's all going to be published as the preview that I see right here of it. It's a really nice hardcover, like a really good sturdy one. And you get the digital edition too. I mean, most places that are hardcover, they'll charge you like $50, and you get no digital edition. After that, the next tier is the signed bookplate edition at $50. And they do have a retailer edition where you do get 5 copies for $100. So that's about $20 a copy. So that's pretty good, actually.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And it's physical.
Physical copies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We gotta do that.
So that's pretty good as well. And there are more tiers above that. There is one where you get a virtual hangout with the creator, a backer's choice commission, and original page of art. That one is $500. They are already out of some rewards, so I won't get into those. Definitely check it out. The artwork looks amazing. They've actually already hit all of their stretch goals.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So if you like free with every physical edition, you're gonna get a custom bookmark and a custom holographic sticker. There are other add-ons that are going to be available, which includes pins, whatchamacallit, like pins and other stuff like arts and stuff like that. And all print editions will now be printed with a UV spot gloss on cover with 4C gilded edges. Ooh, really nice. So very fancy. Definitely check it out. I think this looks like an amazing project. It's been fully funded, but it looks like something you can't miss out on. I love fantasy. And this looks like a really good all ages, or at least like middle school age, like fantasy series. Because 11 and up, yeah, that's like middle school age. Definitely check it out. I loved Scales and Scoundrels when it was coming out. So I already know this publishing company prints out good stuff. It is the Fables of Earl King Wood, and Earl King is ERLKING. So the Fables of Earl King Wood on Kickstarter.
Awesome. Cool. All right, guys, it's now time for Juntos y Fuertes. Kristen, what do you have for us today?
So, today I have for you something to highlight the fact that November is National what is it? American Indigenous, I can't. Native American Indigenous Heritage Month.
Yes, that's a mouthful. Yeah.
Um, and so that's for November. And I want to share with you an anthology that we talked about before. I don't even know. I feel like many, many years ago, we read one of these. It is called Moonshot, and it's an Indigenous comics collection. It's an anthology, and there are 3 volumes. Maybe I'm just remembering that I had it in the shop. But there's 3 anthologies, and basically it brings together dozens of creators from North America to contribute comic book stories showcasing the rich heritage and identity of Indigenous storytelling. From traditional stories to
Ooh.
exciting new visions of the future, this collection presents some of the finest comic book and graphic novel work on the content. It also features story introductions, sketchbooks, and biographies of the writers and illustrators. So that's Moonshot. There's 3 volumes. You can buy it at Birch Bark Books. If you are an Amazon customer, it's also available there. But I do remember hearing a lot of good feedback from people who did read the volume 1 anthology. And I'm excited to see that there's 3 volumes now. So that is Moonshot Indigenous Comics Collection.
Oh yes, we did. We reviewed volume 1 of their
See?
anthology series. Yes. So
That's awesome. And there's obviously everybody knows there's indigenous people all over the world. But just to get a glimpse of some of the stories, I feel like we have a lot in common, and I'm so glad you brought that
Yes.
up, and I'm so glad that you can go out there and read volume 3.
We have a lot in common, and the only thing that separates us is the fact that the colonizers put the line right down Mexico and what is now America, and a lot of the Native American tribes that are still here got stuck on this side, and our ancestors got stuck on the other. But I mean, look at the Yaqui tribe. That tribe is, here in America, here in California, where it was Mexico. So it's very true that we have a lot in common.
this is all Spain's fault.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. And maybe England as well.
And Portugal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Europe's
We
fault.
totally forgot about.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
White
Europe.
people's fault.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Now it's time for saludos. And saludos goes out to Mex American 2024. They just had their event November 2nd in Austin, Texas, and it was a free event. And it was absolutely successful and amazing. It was well attended. A lot of the amazing creative people that we have met throughout our podcasting career. And there was a little rain, but that they did not let that stop the event. It was amazing. And I'm just so glad that they're out there doing amazing things and highlighting independent Latinx creators and writers and artists. So saludos goes to Mex American 2024, but you can follow them, and please do so at Mex American. That's MEXAMERICON on Instagram. Check out all their beautiful posts and follow all the artists that attended. It's just really amazing. I'm just like, one of these days we're gonna have to go to freaking Texas.
I know. Well, remember we were planning on going?
Yes,
March
We can't go down.
2020.
and then the freaking pandemic happened.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Pandemic happened, but I also don't suggest going now.
yeah. Oh, sadness. Anyway, saludos, Mex American. Please follow them on Instagram. Check out their artists that attended the event. Check out the artists they support. Check it out. Follow them. Amazing. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Please note that you can come and say hello to us, take pictures with us, give us a finger, have an interview with us if you listen to us at the Latino Comics Expo happening November 23rd and November 24th at MOLA in Long Beach. Check it out. Come on down. I'm sure they're going to have great snacks. They're probably going to have that amazing coffee cart that they had last year.
Oh, that's right.
Loved it. There's a lot of free swag. You could come down. We're going to give pins, stickers. If you buy any books from us that we reviewed on this podcast, you can get a free awesome bag that you can use for your laundry, for your groceries. It's super cool. And you can take pictures with us. I hope you wanted to do that. But anyway, you can come say hello to us. We'd love to meet you. We'd love to say hello. Where else can they find us, Kristen?
You can find us at comasicomics.com, where you find links to all of our social media on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is now. We also have the TikTok. And if you are just listening to us this episode, please note that you can go to YouTube and check out the Comasi Comics YouTube channel, where you can watch our podcast shows and see the beer cans, see the covers of the comic, and see whether or not I took a shower that day.
Same, actually, same. But don't forget to try to review us, please. Let us know. That it helps with the algorithm, I think, somewhere, somehow. I don't know how the internet works. I'm old. Just please do. If you like us, if you don't like us, if you're on the fence about us, please do review us. We'd really appreciate it. It would be super awesome to read your review. It would totally make our day, and we could shout you out if you'd like. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Thank you for spending this time with us. We're your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And that's on Period Network.